Atlanta, ooh la la. God, I hate those frickin' zombies. They keep eating all of my friends and family.
It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for Season 9 of The Walking Dead. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at whether this is potentially the reason why Andrew Lincoln, who plays Rick Grimes, is most likely going to leave or exit The Walking Dead. So this thing has been going around, and there are some evidence pointing towards this being the reason why Andrew Lincoln decided to leave, or one of the main reasons, but in my opinion, it has to be one of the reasons. It can't be the only reason. But just to say what we're talking about, so many people, many fans are saying that the reason why Andrew Lincoln left AMC's The Walking Dead is because of how AMC and the writers of The Walking Dead went about ending Carl Grimes' story and just outright killing him. So Andrew Lincoln, who of course has been with Chandler Riggs, who plays Carl Grimes, this entire time, and they were very close on screen and off screen, and it seems like, at least in Andrew Lincoln's mind, the only purpose why Rick Grimes was basically surviving up to this point is because of his son, because of Carl Grimes. Now, when Carl died, there doesn't seem to be anything left for Rick as a character in terms of what Andrew Lincoln sees. He doesn't think that there's any more motivation for him to want to continue to survive. And other than the story point of it, Andrew Lincoln and Chandler Riggs were very close. So, this is a big, big loss, not only to the entire cast, but specifically to Andrew Lincoln himself. And I definitely think there's something there. I think that AMC wanted to, for whatever reason, end Carl Grimes' story and basically not fire, but make Chandler Riggs exit this show somehow. Maybe because of some of the problems that they saw with Chandler Riggs' acting, they felt like maybe it would bring so many negative things into the show that they just didn't want to take the risk. Maybe it had something to do with the fact that they wanted someone other than Chandler Riggs to continue on or be the side man if Andrew Lincoln is to leave in the future. But I think AMC wanted Norman Reedus, who plays Daryl Dixon, to fill the gap, to fill that void when Andrew Lincoln is not there. They did not want Chandler Riggs to, in the future, become the face of this show when Andrew Lincoln leaves or when he's basically faded away into the background. So they wanted Norman Reedus, and they saw Chandler Riggs not as a threat, but an obstacle in front of them. There are many things pointing to that being the case because of how quick Carl Grimes' story was wrapped up and ended, and how they handled his death in general. It definitely feels like if the writers had the option or had the power, they wouldn't end Carl Grimes' story the way they did. At least if they wanted to do it, they would do it a little bit differently. But in my opinion, AMC's long-term plan had a lot to do with what they did with Carl as a character and, making Chandler Riggs leave the show. And maybe that didn't sit well with Andrew Lincoln, who was very close to Chandler Riggs. And maybe that's potentially what made him say, okay, I'm done with this show. I can't take it anymore. You're just, ruining the show, to AMC, of course, saying that you're doing things that's stopping the show from being as good as it could be because of what you're doing with the contract, what you're doing to the budget, and how you're killing characters or firing or whatever the case may be, these actors who could potentially be the face of the show later on and who have done so much for the show, who have spent lots and lots of their time, most of their lives in case of Chandler Riggs, on the show, working on the show and investing on the show. So I think that had a lot to do with it. And I think that's what Andrew Lincoln ultimately decided to leave the show. And we could even see another sign about AMC's connection to Norman Reedus in terms of how much they see him as the moneymaker of the show and they want to keep him around. Now that it seems like Andrew Lincoln is going to leave, it seems like AMC is going to pay Norman Reedus a ton of money for him to stay as compensation. So I don't know about 20 million as it was originally stated, because that just doesn't seem reasonable, but it's got to be a high amount. And I think that they're doing this because not that they see Chandler Riggs is gone, Andrew Lincoln is leaving. They want to keep their moneymaker. So they want to make sure Norman Reedus is there. Daryl Dixon is there. So that's most likely how everything came together. But of course, nothing's been announced yet. AMC hasn't announced anything to my knowledge. And, you know, we don't know what they're doing with Daryl Dixon and everybody else after Andrew Lincoln leaves, assuming he does. So let's not jump the gun right now. I'm just saying facts. I'm just saying what's out there. And in my opinion, this maybe had a little bit to do with it, but I don't think this is the only reason why Andrew Lincoln decided to leave. I think there are other things involved as well as part of it. But the other thing that I do want to quickly mention is one of the directors of The Walking Dead posted a photo of himself with Andrew Lincoln, and it was like somewhat of a goodbye note or something. So that's also another kind of indicator that maybe it's not a rumor anymore. Maybe this is the end for Andrew Lincoln. We did have that photo that was posted by Norman Reedus with him and Andrew Lincoln, Rick and Daryl hugging. And as I said in my other video, that was potentially another indicator, but this is another one that's just added in as well. But it's going to be interesting to see whether they talk about any of this during Talking Dead tonight or whether they don't. But that's basically all I wanted to share with you guys. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video. If you like what you see, press like, subscribe for more content, and press the bell button to receive notifications for future uploads. Like the Facebook page of this channel to join our Walking Dead community. Join us live every Friday night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time for a Q&A session. See you all there.